Welcome to PopXcast, where science fiction meets pop culture. We're the podcast that covers everything pop culture and beyond the multiverse. Are you ready to get your geek on? Crank up the DeLorean, warm up the proton packs, toss a coin to your Witcher, and deep dive into your favorite plate of chimichangas. This is PopXcast.
You are listening to PopXcast, where science fiction meets pop culture.
Here we go!
PopXcast.
I was born in it, molded by it.
PopXcast. No strings on me. Autobots, transform. I'm Batman. By the power of Grayskull. PopXcast. We're doomed.
Goal here at Tyrell. More human than human is our motto.
Here's Johnny.
Never had a pet pony.
Hasta la vista, baby.
PopXcast.
Captain's log supplemental.
Negasonic Teenage. What the
I am the one who knocks.
Excelsior!
All right, welcome everybody. This is episode 119, PopXcast, coming to you on this Monday night, April the 5th. Man, I hope, did you guys have a good Easter out there? Did you guys hide some eggs?
Oh my gosh, I ate so much food. There was like such a large spread of food. It was a ridiculous amount of food for 9 people, and there was not much leftovers. So we were all feeling it.
Well, you got.
And then we had cornhole tournaments afterwards in the
it's
backyard,
the
y'all.
I love
You
cornhole.
guys throw down with some cornhole?
I love cornhole.
Okay
yes.
at it.
Absolutely. I love it. One of my favorite games, especially in the summertime.
Yeah.
I'm a 2-time cornhole champion. I won a bicycle when I was in 9th grade.
Oh.
2-time.
Yeah.
2-time.
Hillbilly days, son. 2-time champ.
Oh my goodness.
Come on. I ain't good anymore, though. I lost my luster, you know.
You gotta keep it up. You gotta keep that skill set.
Did you lose
I
your,
know, it's
you
hard.
lost your charms, what you did.
I gained all this weight, and now my shot's off. I'm just throwing it over the board and at the group next to us.
You're
What
like,
about you,
hey,
Mikey? How you fare at some cornhole?
I've only played a couple times. I think I was all right at it.
All right. So Mike's on my team. We're gonna team up.
Nice. I can kind of visualize Austin right now with his little cornhole bean bag, whatever you want to call it.
Do you have like one of those little trophies?
Do you have a little cornhole trophy?
I do. It's at my house in the summer. So I had the trophy, and then I had a little T-shirt that said "Cornhole Champ." But
Good
like
grief.
I said, now I'm just throwing the sacks. I'm just like, watch out for my sack.
Watch
The
out.
sacks are flying.
It's like freaking Superman launching a gauntlet into space there. Oh man, we have got the chat room is freaking hopping at the moment. Oh my gosh, you guys are rocking and rolling. Literally, I Talk Marvel was the first one in here tonight, 15 minutes before the show
He was
began.
saving seats. I saw the coats and
Oh
the
my
hats saving the
gosh,
row for all his friends. I
So
saw
good,
him.
man.
I saw you.
So good. We got let's give some shout outs here before we open up the show. I Talk Marvel. What's up, dude? How you doing, Darth Baca? Always a pleasure to see you, my friend. And we got not Nick Cage in awesome. What's up, dude? How you doing? And Upper Room Gaming Network in the house, and Mr. Robert Hamilton hanging out with us here tonight. Oh my gosh, man.
Hello,
this is
everybody.
the room is it makes me feel good, you know? All these amazing people hanging out with us on a Monday night, choosing PopXcast. Come on.
Yeah.
All right, so Austin, let's go ahead and get this thing started. We got a little bit of a jam-packed show tonight, man.
We got a show I've been looking forward to for a long time. But first, Welcome to PopX, where science fiction meets pop culture. I'm Austin Burke, the Appalachian geek at heart. We would like to welcome everyone joining us live in the PopX.live chat room. Come hang out with us and join the conversation at PopXcast.com. Now, if this is your first time tuning into PopX, the first 15 minutes or so, we run down the headlines since our last show, and then we deep dive into all things nostalgic on Retro Rewind. At the halfway point, we hit on the show's topic. It is a beast of a show today.
It is quite a beast of a show. And man, I'm telling you, it's every show here lately. The past several shows have been beasts of shows because we are finally getting content now that we're coming out of this friggin' pandemic.
Hallelujah.
Anyway,
praise be the geeky gods.
The angels are singing a song right now.
Thank you.
But I am Joseph Burke, Central Florida seasoned comic book nerd and retro enthusiast, and the founder of PopXcast, believe it or not. Now, we're a part of a unique collective known online as the Creative Multiverse. For an even deeper dive into the creative process of many talented people, visit us on our Facebook groups and just search in the Creative Multiverse in the search bar up on top on Facebook.
Just search it everywhere. Just search it out.
Just
tap on, get that keyboard flying.
Lord have mercy.
All right, guys. Well, I am Lindsay Badger, your favorite geeky okie, coming at you. If you missed last week's episode 118, we threw down a very detailed discussion about the current episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I bet those the first three, right?
Well, the first one, actually. Yeah.
First one-ish. Yeah. Okay, well, there's a lot more to catch up on later.
Yeah.
And then we did our retro rewind of War Games that week. That was a lot of fun going back and watching that movie. Make sure you go to our official website, popxcast.com, to watch that and all of the other great past shows from the PopX collective archive of geeky goodness. If you like what we're seeing here tonight after this show, not right this very second, but later, if you want to go off and subscribe to one of our podcast platforms, that's great. But while you're sitting here right now, go ahead and click that subscribe button on YouTube so that you get notified whenever we go live, and so you don't miss any of our really great shows, and you can chat with us while we're live. As we schedule new shows, it will definitely let you know that that's happening as well. And you can just enjoy the geeky goodness. Make sure you rate us. 5-star ratings are always welcome.
Yes, it was.
Nice comments are also welcome too. We love all the love.
We do.
So, just
so
take
good.
it away, Joe.
Oh, data analytics. What's up, data analytics in the house?
But that's okay. We'll just keep going.
No. I'm looking
Austin's
at
like, please just thumbs up it. Click the slam the bell on the button. You know what you need to do. Just do it.
Well, we need to probably talk about the elephant in the room here. Mike is in a different location. Mike has been journeying to the center of the earth today.
And he's still here. I have nothing to do.
Is it hollow there?
I have no graphics and to do, and I'm sitting here just like looking into deep space. It's like I'm broadcasting in the dark ages here.
Oh my gosh.
I have like nothing to do.
So Mike took the pilgrimage to Florida. That's all I got for that.
Yeah.
I won't rabbit hole on what kind of day he's had, but it's been a good.
I'm just glad he's here.
Going.
Yeah, man, I'm glad he's here too. The dude's in vacation mode. He's still on PopXcast. My goodness gracious,
it's impressive.
That's pretty.
It's been going since 10:30 this morning.
Oh man, that's crazy. It sounds like to me you might want to add some fiber if you've been going since 10:30 this morning.
My goodness.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm just gonna go eat the tree outside.
Anyway, all right. So we got PopX news coming up to you right now. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Extra, read all about it. This is PopX News, coming to you live right here on PopXcast.com.
Alrighty, and leading us off this week, we have, with the production set to begin this month on Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi, many fans have been so excited to learn that Hayden Christensen is set to return as Darth Vader in the new series. Can I get a what? It's true. It's confirmed. It's coming back. He's coming back. Though the casting reveal also confirmed that Joel Edgerton and Bonnie, Pisey, will reprise their roles from the prequel films as Owen Lars and Beru Lars. Now, you might remember those as who? Who? Anybody? Bueller?
His aunt and uncle?
Fry? Yeah, thank you very much. I was getting ready to throw out a Bueller reference beforehand, but I'm just so excited to talk about Ferris Bueller tonight. But with the new series taking place after the events of Star Wars Revenge of the Sith and before Star Wars A New Hope, we can likely expect to see Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi keeping an eye on young Luke, surely requiring some glimpses of Owen and Beru. Though it's unknown how substantial their roles are going to be in this new series, it really does kind of paint a picture on how this storyline is going to develop, and those 30-some years in hiding that he did on Tatooine. It's going to be really, really awesome to see that. And it'd be cool, you got Obi-Wan up on the mountainside kind of spying down on Luke and the family, overwatching, making sure he's okay. I kind of want to see that, actually. I kind of want to, maybe he's connecting to the Force and he's talking to Qui-Gon. And he's being mentored still by the Force. What you got, Austin?
I have a good feeling. I have a good feeling we're going to be seeing a little Liam Neeson.
You
if not
so?
seeing him, then getting a little bit of an Easter egg, because he's always said that there's a chance. And they even say it in Revenge of the Sith. They're like, we found a way to connect you to Qui-Gon Jinn, your old master. And he goes, Qui-Gon. And I think that is the ultimate, we're going to get a big cameo.
How did that go again?
Qui-Gon. And I'm turning more into Quagmire.
I like the hand motion that he does.
The more I say it, the worse it gets. But I think this is going to be, that WandaVision level Evan Peters cameo that we're all expecting. And this is going to be cool, man. A full-on Western. And I know The Mandalorian has a spice of that, but this feels like it's going to be full-on and everything I've wanted to see from Obi-Wan.
From Obi-Wan. How do you guys feel about this? What do you think?
It's gonna be rad.
I can't wait. Pretty gnarly, right? I think it's.
I've been loving the new Star Wars stuff they've been cranking out, so I can't wait to see what they come up with this stuff. It is like top-notch good stuff.
I think Bad Batch is going to be awesome. I think it's going to be spectacular, and I can't wait to watch that when that drops as well. Mike, you got any thoughts on Obi-Wan coming back?
I'm curious to see what it's going to be like. It's Star Wars is kind of a sore spot for me lately with all the stuff that's going on, but I'll give it a shot.
We'll give it a go. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're optimistic, cautiously.
I like
very,
that.
Very
I like it. I like it. I can respect that. I get it. Yep, good. All righty, Austin Burke, what is the next one we have?
Of course. Sony has finally, still talking like that,
yes.
Has finally
You should do the whole thing as Obi-Wan.
Sony has finally confirmed that it will be shutting down the PlayStation Store on some of its older pieces of hardware.
In the coming months, specifically the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation Portable, and the PlayStation Vita are all systems that will be affected by this closure. That being said, it's not all bad news, as Sony has also confirmed that any games purchased in the past on these platforms, a lot of P's there, will still be accessible in the future. Outlined on the official PlayStation website, it was revealed that the PlayStation 3 and PSP or PSP will be the first two platforms to be put to rest this summer. The PlayStation Store on each of these respective devices will be the first to shutter on July 2nd, 2021. The PS Vita, however, will get almost 2 months more of service before it reaches its demise. The Vita storefront will then reach its end officially on August 27th. So a lot of PlayStation nostalgia going down the drain this summer.
Yeah.
I was just hoping he was going to do the voice the whole show.
I was getting ready to say the same thing. I was like, man, he petered out too quick on this one.
I did.
But it's sad to see the PISP go.
Bye, PISP.
We're going to miss the PISP.
All the P's.
Dude, every time I heard the word PS Vita, I think of that Russian singer, Vitas, who goes...
Yes, it's my favorite video online. I know what you're talking about.
Oh my!
I don't know where I'm at right now, but this is great.
Put that
We're on PopX. This is where anything can happen. It will.
Lindsay Badger, you have got to ground us right now, girl.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about Black Adam. It's coming, and fans are more than ready to see what The Rock is cooking. This crap. Seriously. Really the DC Comics film announced on July 22 release date for Dwayne Johnson's blockbuster. This movie is a culmination of a huge lineup for their brand next year. However, the fans have been amped for The Rock to get his own superhero film for a long time now. Black Adam fans have also been wishing for this kind of treatment for their favorite character going on a decade. They've been begging for this for a long time. So this is a supreme win for all parties involved. Pierce Brosnan also got cast as Dr. Fate earlier as well. Ooh,
Interesting.
Very
interesting. I like it. Well, I think Black Adam. I mean, I'm freaking excited to see Rock play.
He literally walks around like a human superhero.
Dude,
Anyways, why not put him in spandex?
I mean, Jumanji, hello. You know, I mean, my gosh, he fits the role. He's a freaking beast. But, you know.
Did the studio sing You're Welcome? Please tell me the studio sang You're Welcome.
Oh, man, I hope so.
You're welcome. Wrong studio. Anyway.
Yeah. But I think, you know, on the cusp of Black Adam, too, before we go into the last news thing of the night, did anybody see the new Black Widow trailer that dropped last week?
Yes. Very good.
That one.
Yeah. The end of it had me almost in tears when I heard the chorus chime in on the Avengers theme song.
Yeah.
I was like, I want that as a ringtone. That's beautiful.
I mean, what a cool spin on Silvestri's. I don't even think Silvestri's composing this. I think it was just a new composer, like adding his own flair. But man, it just threw me back, and it also gets me more amped because I think Florence Pugh, aka the new Black Widow, I think her role is probably going to continue after Black Widow. So I think she's going to be an awesome new Black Widow after this movie.
Speaking of trailers too, Space Jam 2, anyone?
Oh, nostalgia.
That's going to be
Did you guys see that trailer? LeBron looked awesome in that movie, right?
He looks good, man. I'm excited.
Everything in the trailer looked fantastic, but I really hope that they didn't leave all the good stuff in the trailer and it's just fluff. That's the only concern I have. Otherwise, it looks like a fantastic time.
I think for them to spend this much time on this film in post production, I think it's going to be it's going to be like Ready Player 2. Essentially, I mean that's the way I'm feeling about it because there's just
with
so
Acme products, right?
Yeah, the Warner Brothers. But you know, I was going through it, and actually, when it came out that morning, I went through and I was pausing it frame by frame, and I just was looking at all the Easter eggs and the characters, and I spotted 2 different Jokers from 2 different time periods.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
So you had the Jack Nicholson Joker and the Cesar Romero Joker from the 66 and the 89 Batman present. I'm like, wait, there's multiple Jokers in this thing? What the heck? And so it was crazy, dude. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I agree.
So what did you guys think of Black Adam coming in and being in the role of Dwayne Johnson playing Black Adam? What do you guys think of that? Let us know. Leave a comment over in the chat room, and I can't wait to see what you guys think about it. Last but not least, an incredibly rare copy of the original Super Mario Brothers for the Nintendo Entertainment System sold for a whopping $660,000. What?
I heard about this.
Now
it's a wild story.
Yeah, this is insane. Yeah, the game itself was still sealed in its original plastic wrapping and was in extremely good shape. The copy was labeled as being an A+ condition and was scored by a 9.6 by the group that rated it. Now, basically, it's one of the nicest iterations of Super Mario Brothers in existence, which is why it went for so much money. Now, that being said, the amount of money that this copy is sold for is staggering high for a few reasons. For starters, this version of Super Mario Brothers has broken the previous record and has become the highest sold single video game in history. Now, while that might be unsurprising given the amount it went for, what's shocking is the amount it sold for compared to what sits in its record. Prior to the sale, no other video game had ever even surpassed the $200,000 milestone in an auction. To be even more specific, this copy of Super Mario Bros. Sold 4 times higher than the previous record holder.
Now, to add to this story really quick, what I heard was the person who purchased the video game had got it for a Christmas gift and had put it in like a desk drawer and just closed it and walked away and just completely forgot that they had it.
Whoa.
And then all these years later, they found it. I don't know if it was while they were cleaning out for an estate sale or whether they were moving or whatever. I don't know, but it was intended to be given as a gift at Christmas time that year when it came out, and it was just forgotten.
Now, here's another adoration a lot of people aren't thinking about. When you bought the Nintendo Entertainment System in the 80s, Super Mario Brothers was already part of a free game that you got coupled with Duck Hunt. Now, there was a rare copy of Super Mario Brothers that was sold on the market on the stand. This is said product. It's not the one that came in the actual system. This is one that had to be actually bought with a UPC barcode, which is why it is more valuable than the one that came in the system. Because the one that came in the system had Duck Hunt, and it was a twofer kind of a situation. Yeah. Interesting. Wow.
That's crazy.
Mac, you did good on the news this week, man. That's insane. Man.
High five.
High five. Good job. Working it. Sparking it. Anyway, moving on, we got the Retro Rewind, guys. What is going on with Austin's hands right now? I don't know. But we'll be right back on the Retro Rewind. Ferris Bueller's Day Off coming up. Don't go anywhere.
Retro Rewind. Retro Rewind. Retro Rewind.
Right, Retro Rewind, dialing it back 1985. Holy cow, at the height of John Hughes' writing, I would say probably one of the pinnacle films of 80s pop culture glory, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Now, this is a movie I know a couple of you here in the window with me. You probably didn't even have to go and watch it because you've already seen it so freaking much. But I actually went and my wife, one Christmas ago, got me the 4K version. And so I was able to watch it fully remastered. And it's stunning. And long story short, I just had to watch it again because I just like to see Ed Rooney get the crap happen to him. Rooney. But my gosh, this movie. So John Hughes literally wrote my entire childhood. I think I've said this before on PopX, but all the movies that he created, the teen angst that he was so noted for, this was the culmination pinnacle. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but there was definitely a recall back to Matthew Broderick's first role in War Games in the opening scenes of Ferris Bueller's Day Off when he's on the computer. And he dials into his own school's network and changes how many days he's been absent.
There's a lot of similarities there.
Oh my gosh. And I think that was just a nice little nod to Broderick's, first cinematic debut. But, I want to start with the ladies first because I always start with Austin or myself. I want to hear, Lindsay, what is it about Ferris Bueller? Why do you keep coming back to that crazy movie?
Oh, man. Well, you always know that it's never going to disappoint you. It is literally written a masterclass of fourth wall in movies. It is like the staple to go back to learn how to do that properly. And it's not overdone. It's like just the right amount of talking to the camera whenever you're not usually used to the characters directly talking to you. So I think that's kind of pioneered that in a way. The soundtrack in this movie is fantastic. Yes. It is always high energy and carrying you on the journey.
Yep.
It almost makes you want to get up off your butt and do a little dance along the way, There's even without, because I didn't watch this movie recently, but I can still pull like the da 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 da, with the little chasing scene and the Don Couché, all of those songs come flooding back as soon as I think about this movie. I don't have to go back and watch it to remember, oh yeah, that movie had that song in it.
Yeah.
It's like seared into your brain. I feel like James Gunn pulled a lot of influence from how to build a soundtrack, from how they built the soundtrack for this movie. It's memorable, couldn't agree more, because they actually put thought into the songs they're pulling and making that meaningful as part of telling the story in a really, really powerful way. The characters are written in a way where you are so relatable to not only the extremely frustrated sister that gets in trouble for everything and Ferris gets away with everything. I can relate to her on so many levels, being the older sister with a bratty little brother.
Oh, boy.
The principal being the bad guy, always getting, 3 steps behind. And it's almost kind of Home Alone pulls a lot of that comedy from that interaction between the principal and Ferris. And even the ditzy parents that you just want to shake and like be like, how are you not seeing what's going on in front of your face? You know, all of these things. And then, you know, you have your always have a rain cloud over your head best friend that, you know, gives you a life purpose and goal to try to change their life for the better.
Poor Cameron.
You know, I mean, you feel so deeply for all of these characters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a great story for, you know, it's almost like a live action cartoon because, you know, in real life, none of this is possible.
That's really, I like the way you said that. It's like a live action cartoon.
It's a live action cartoon because there's
so,
no
you're so
possible
on
way
point
any
with
of
that.
that would be ridiculous. They would be ridiculous if that would happen for real.
Awesome.
Anyways, I will stop and leave it there. There's a lot to take away and dive down deep into it, and I'll leave a little bit for you guys to nick away at too.
Well, I'm going to actually switch gears up, Mike. I know that you're like my cohort of 80s as well. I mean, me and Mike literally grew up, and Lindsay grew up in the era, and we had such a crazy childhood stemming from all of that. Mike, what does Ferris Bueller, what does it remind you of, and what does it bring out from your childhood?
You know, it just shows you kind of the difference, you know, in a kind of general statement. It's just, it shows a little bit of the popular to the not so popular people. I mean, John Hughes was a master of those kind of movies. So he kind of knew, you know, in all his teen movies, to show, you know, the geeks and the jocks and stuff like that. But, you know, and you know, as far as, you know, Ferris Bueller is just, you know, just one of those movies, just timeless, you know, and kind of like Lindsay said, it's like, these things would never happen in real life. I mean, you know, and, you know, to be, you know, to do those kind of things and to, you know, to have all the missed opportunities, even when he was on TV at the baseball game and they look and they looked away and they missed his, you know, that he was sitting in the stands,
right.
You know, just stuff like that, you know.
That's awesome.
You know, and just to, you know, and just to hear Abe Froman, the Sausage King, you know, I thought that was that's hysterical.
Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is one of those kind of movies you just kind of, you have to sit and you don't analyze it. You just sit, you just put your feet up, you enjoy it, you know, and it's just definitely one of those, you know, enjoyable movies. Don't kind of critique it. Just kind of let it go and just enjoy it.
I love that approach, Mike. Well said, man. Austin Burke, I'm going to go to you.
Yeah, I hate this movie. It's horrible. No, this is...
You lift your chair up and let's see your shirt there.
Yeah, it's the worst. Fast. I got my pop figure. I got my Ferris Bueller pop figure.
Where's
right
your Ferris?
Here. And
old
John in the chat sent me this shirt. So, I am obsessed with this film. I have probably watched this movie 30, 40 times in my life, and I can't stop going back to it. I try to do it at least twice a year. It's so memorable.
It is.
Every line, every aspect, every character. And the thing that sticks out the most is Ferris Bueller is the guy that everyone wants to be. He's the man, always on a mission, always trying to. And the thing is, he's not just trying to do it all himself. He's roping other people in. He's not going to let Cameron sit there and sleep all day. No, when Cameron was in Egypt's land,
let my Cameron
go. I mean, that's one of the best. And each character has their own specific moment, down to Ferris's sister. I mean, the entire family, when they first walk in and he's laying in the bed and he's not, and they're just so loving and like the typical cliche 80s parents. But there's something about that interaction. Every single line, every single word just stands out as hilarious and perfectly written. And a lot of it is John Hughes, obviously, but then he assembles the perfect cast to deliver on this dialogue. And in my opinion, one of the best comedy ensembles of all time, from Jennifer Grey to obviously Alan Ruck. But then you have young Matthew Broderick, who's playing a drastically different character from his character in War Games.
Oh, yeah.
I love the homage at the beginning, by the way.
Yeah.
But you believe every second of his confidence and his ability to do no wrong and the sly nature. And like you said, the baseball game on TV, just getting away with something like that. Yeah. He's like the perfect specimen but you can't sit there and be jealous of him because he's just the
Right.
best guy.
Right.
I mean, he's just the best guy, even though he's kind of being a little sly and sneaky, not going to school and all that stuff. But that's what you want to be, man. That's what you aspire. But like you said, I like what Mike said. It's not, making other people feel like they don't belong and this like that. We're kind of including everyone here, whether you were a jock or the cool kid, the non-popular kid, this and that. It just feels like we're assembling, because I think Cameron's journey is just as impressive as Ferris Bueller's journey. He's trying to find himself throughout the entire movie. And by the end of the film, I felt more confidence coming from him. So I could sit and talk all day about the characters and break them all down individually. But it is one of the most entertaining movies I've ever watched. And I can't think of anything that John Hughes could have done differently here to make the movie better. I don't want to say it's the perfect film, but what do I say bad about it?
Yeah,
it's incredible.
For me, it is the perfect film. And I'm gonna kind of wrap this up, but I'm gonna be very sentimental here. All right. So it's 1986. I'm correcting. This movie came out in 86, by the way. I said 85 earlier. Correction, 86. But it's 87, right? And we have a 8-year-old-ish, going on 9-ish Joe. And before you could go and click rent or download or stream, you went to the video rental store. And my mom, I never will forget this, on a Friday night after school, she's like, all right, Joe, you got good grades. We're going to take you by the video store. You pick out one movie. And this movie was on there. You remember there used to be little thumbtacks in front of the thing, and you would take the pin off, and ever how many pins was on the video is how many they had in stock. So at this time, if there's 3 pins on it, that means they have 3 tapes in the back that you could rent. So I take the pin off and I take it up to the counter. It's Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The cover art with him on the front just kind of captured me. I didn't know what I was watching. And at the time, it was $1.25 to rent it for a night and a half. That was how much it was. Well, when I returned it, I ended up having to pay $12.75 because I literally, for the next 7 days, watched the movie every single day. And I tell you, I was like my mom. I told my mom, I said, don't worry about it. It's $12. Here's my allowance. Whatever. I don't care. But recently, this movie, for me, I grew up in a kind of a very interesting childhood. I was kind of sick growing up. I had a lot of things. So Ferris Bueller was kind of the alpha male for me, if you think about it. And he was kind of like the antagonist. I wanted to be like him so much. He was smart. He knew about computers. He knew how to be sly, but cunning, but bold and willing to take risks and chances. Yeah. And man, it just resonated with me as a kid. And that's why I watched this movie literally for that week. In that summer of 1987, I watched it for an entire week straight, every single day. And a lot of times I would rewind it back just to watch parts of it over again because I loved it so much. Recently, I had my favorite scene in this movie probably the setup to the day is for me is one of the favorite parts. It's like how he's masterminding the plan in his mind and making it all flow. There's so many elements of the movie that are great, but for me, the initial first 15, 20 minutes, the setup, is like the best part of the movie, I think.
Yeah.
But in 2019, I celebrated my 40th birthday. Now, the members of PopX may not be able to see this unless you're watching the live stream. But I asked my wife, I was like, can you please do me a favor? While we're in Chicago, can I go and visit some places? And she said, if they have anything to do with Ferris Bueller's Day Off, yes. And I was like, I knew that's why I freaking married you. And so what we did is we went to the Chicago Art Institute. And a lot, everybody knows the famous scene with all the pictures and works of art and all of that. So if you're watching this at home, this is me standing in front of the famous statue where all 3 of them were standing in a row. That is the actual statue. So if you're watching this on stream, PopX members, I'm sorry you're not being able to see this on your end, but
no, you're fine.
All right, so the portrait where Cameron got lost and he was looking at the little girl and it kept zooming in and zooming in and zooming in. Here is that piece. I do apologize in advance. I don't have the titles of these pieces. I don't have the captions below it. I do know these pieces because I got to look them up on my phone. But it's just amazing to be able to walk down these particular moments. This, the scene where they're at the Sears Tower and they stand up on the rail and they bang their head against the glass to look down on the street. Well, this is the 2019 version of that. This is me and Alex at the Sears Tower doing what's called the Tilt 360. And it's just astounding. It really is astounding. You're standing there. You're literally, your head is on the glass if you want to, and you're looking at a 20-degree angle straight down on the street. It was insane. Now, last but not least, you may remember the famous scene when Ferris goes and kisses his girl, and they are in a room surrounded by these blue glass window sculptures. Remember that? Specifically one with a dove and a sun. Remember?
Yeah.
Well, this is me and Alex reenacting that moment, kissing under that exact same blue glass. So it just, for me, just being able to be there and reenact those moments and have those Ferris Bueller moments was just truly amazing. And so, I'm so thankful that I got to do that and see those works of art, not just be in awe at how beautiful those works of art were, but, it was just astounding just to walking in the footsteps, knowing and seeing where the film was shot and seeing how the camera was positioned in a certain angle. Freaking loved that stuff, man. But let's rate Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and then we'll get on into Godzilla versus Kong. We'll start in the order that they spoke. Lindsay, Mike, okay. Austin.
All right. 9.5. It's legit a good movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with 9.5 as well. I mean, this is just, there's nothing wrong with this movie. And just on a side note, that this movie was preserved in the National Archive in the Library of Congress. So that's got to tell you something about how good it is.
Pop culture history right there.
Yeah.
Austin Burke.
Yeah. I'm going a 10. The big 1-0. It's a 10 out of 10. It's
rare. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
It's one of maybe 20 movies I've ever given a 10 out of 10 to, but it's the perfect comedy for me.
Well, the apple didn't fall too far from the tree because I am giving it an astounding 10 out of 10 as well.
Yeah.
There's only maybe 4 movies in the 80s that I will give a 10 out of a 10 rating. And if you want to know the rest, go to my Letterboxd account. I have them all there.
Yeah,
I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but I have the top 150 movies of the 80s there listed, and you can see what my top 10 and top 5 are. But it's astounding. 10 out of 10, 2 9.5s. I mean, come on. If you've not seen it, I don't know what rock or what planet you've been on, but do yourself a favor. If you've seen it, go watch it again and just enjoy it. Escape for an hour and 43 minutes. Alrighty, so with all that said, we are going to roll into the main topic of the night, which is Godzilla versus Kong. We're going to roll the spoiler alert warning. Now, if you've not seen Godzilla versus Kong yet, you might want to go ahead and hit that pause button because we're going to be breaking down some crazy spoilers here in the next 20 minutes. So sit back, relax. We'll see you here in just a second.
Danger. You are about to enter a PopX spoiler alert. Beyond this point, there is no return. You have been warned.
You have been warned. Godzilla vs. Kong, the 4th movie in the culmination of the Titans, the monstrous battles. We've what is it, 2014? We've been setting up this franchise of films with Godzilla, and then we had Kong Skull Island in 2017. 2019, we got Godzilla King of the Monsters, and then we have this final one in 2021 with Godzilla versus Kong. And, I think a couple of them are weak for me. I'll be honest. I went back and actually watched all of them previously, building up to this particular movie. I just I don't remember everything that happened in the original Godzilla, so I need to watch that. And luckily, HBO Max just put them all there.
Yeah, they added.
So
all
you could go back and just click on them and watch them. I was like,
for your convenience.
This is so nice. I feel so special. Thank you, HBO Max. But I really felt, man, this was everything that we wanted that we didn't get in the previous 3 films. I do feel that it did hit pretty good on this one, specifically on the Titan battles themselves, the on-screen time of both Kong and Godzilla. I thought it was pretty astounding overall, the setup and getting to how these two are supposed to duke it out, and why we all kind of knew with the trailers that Godzilla was acting weird for a reason, right? We knew that something was going on, that his sixth senses were going off, and come to find out, Godzilla was right all along during the entire process. I want to just open it up right quick. I don't know. Does anybody want to share any thoughts or opinions on Godzilla versus Kong? I don't want to call. I can call on somebody, but just round table.
I feel like Kong really shined in this movie. Heavily over his opposing co-host or co-star or whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
He was really, you could really invest yourself in what he's feeling and what he's going through while he's discovering himself and his journey. And I really enjoyed that they took us to Hollow Earth and got to explore that world a little bit, and where the 2 gravitational limits kind of flip-flop was really cool. And you go into his little ancestral family temple or whatever it is, where he gets his little bang axe.
Bang axe.
I don't know what the. Okay, please forgive me. I am not a Kong or Godzilla.
No, it doesn't have a name. It doesn't have a name.
It doesn't have a name, but it's really cool. So
we shall call it Storm Chaser.
Yes, it's basically like Stormbreaker. It's essentially the same thing. So I really thought that was cool how it interacted with its environment, and that was kind of like the coming to power for him, and kind of gave him some drive and some reason, because he kind of knew where he belonged and where he came from. And and you could totally tell that kind of lit the fire inside of him. And then he kind of goes back up to the surface and does his job. So, I mean, that was kind of like my favorite part of the movie to take away. The rest of it was just kind of meh for me. But that's just...
I get it. No, it's actually, it's very plausible what you just said. I mean, the film did a really great way of us capturing the heartstrings of Kong.
Yeah.
And that wasn't a bad thing. I think that we needed to, because Kong at this point hasn't really found his place in the kingdom of all the 17 monsters that's been listed, that's inhabiting the Hollow Earth, if you will. And so, Godzilla knows he's the protector, but Kong just doesn't. He's been on this island his entire life, and that's all he knows. He knows the island, but he doesn't know his plan or purpose. And I love that this backstory, that this is where his family dominated. His family dominated Hollow Earth. They were the kings of Hollow Earth, and Godzilla was the king of the surface world. That's pretty much all you need to know logistically. And I love that they spent that time. I feel that we didn't get a lot of time with Godzilla, and I was reading somebody's review on it. I think it was on Rotten Tomatoes or somewhere like that. He's like, well, they spent so much time on Kong, but they didn't spend much time on Godzilla. Well, actually they did. If you go back and watch Godzilla 1, they've already unraveled his story. Yeah. You just can't take one without the other. They have to be in taken as together. You just don't eat your bread without something on top of it. You got to have the whole meal. And there wasn't no need to go back and dive into Godzilla, because Godzilla's story has already been told twice. Austin, I'm curious. Austin and Mike, I'm curious what you guys are feeling about just generalized.
Yeah, I didn't mind that at all, because, like we said, Godzilla's had 2 movies, Kong has had 1. And I went into each of these films with a different mindset. The first one, I wanted to see a lot of Godzilla. We didn't really see a lot of Godzilla, so that was unfortunate. But I actually kind of liked the human stories in the first, until they kill off Bryan Cranston about halfway through. And then the second Godzilla, I was very just blech with the story. And it wasn't necessarily like, I don't care if the human story is bad. I think the human story is bad in this movie, right? But they spend so much time in Godzilla King of the Monsters. I'm like, you have 25% of this glorious, incredible CGI, and then the rest of the movie is just this human story that I don't care about. Kong Skull Island was a bit of a different beast, but again, great visual effects, a little bit better than King of the Monsters, but human story. So they don't fix that problem here. What they do here is they say, we're going to use this as a web to tie in these huge, grand, and epic scenes. And we know that's what you care about, right? There has to be some sort of plot. And they still haven't quite figured that out yet. But what they do here is they use it as the glue for these big, amazing action scenes that I think all after 4 movies of us being withered down, all we care about is seeing that play out on screen. What did I want to see? I want to see Big Monkey versus Big Lizard. What did I get? A lot in this movie. Big Monkey versus Big Lizard. And it was really entertaining. I mean, the CGI is incredible. The Hollow Earth stuff could set up something for Kong in the future. And that lore was really good. And I would actually say we get way more entertaining fight scenes here than any of the films. And they're not in the dark. It's not, you have to squint to kind of see what's going on. They don't cut away from Godzilla at the last second.
Thank you
bright.
for that.
Yes, it's bright, it's colorful, it's vibrant. They utilize everything we want to see visually. And that's why this movie works, is because they show us what we needed. And then, predictable, but the inevitable team up between Godzilla and Kong to take on Mechagodzilla. What did fans want to see? Exactly that. What did we get? Exactly that. They give Godzilla the victory over Kong. They give Kong the victory at the end of the day, taking out Mechagodzilla. Everyone wins. And I thought they did it really, really well.
Yeah. And the modern graphics of CGI was probably some of the best CGI work I've seen.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was just, holy cow. I mean, just the fibers on Kong's body and his fur, during the boat scene when he's being transported, it was just like, you could just see the mist of the rain just coming off of his fur. And I was just like, well, that's intense, dude. That's some crazy, crazy CGI environmental effects going on there. Micah, what was some of your thoughts on just big perspective, big picture?
It started off kind of slow for me. Like the first 30 minutes, I kind of got bored a little bit, and then but then it started to pick up when it kind of get into the fight scene in the ocean. It gave the opportunity. It was like, okay, round 1 went to Godzilla, then towards the end it was round 2 went to Kong, and then they teamed up, against the Mega Godzilla, and then towards the end they just kind of had a mutual respect for one another, and went their separate ways, But as far as the fights were amazing. I mean, just to see an entire city demolished. I mean, that's a far cry from the 1960s kaiju that they had with the rubber suits and cardboard buildings.
Yeah.
And it was definitely once it kind of started to pick up with the action, I started to enjoy it a little bit more. It just I don't know what Millie Bobby Brown was doing. She was just
I didn't either.
I was about to comment
I'm
about
going,
her.
what is she doing? And then when they capture her and they're standing there, and then the Mega Godzilla turns around and she's just standing there crying. Okay, what was that all about?
I didn't know.
But overall, they like Austin said, I didn't care much for the human story. More of the gorilla versus lizard type. Fight is what we were looking for, and that's exactly what we got. And I actually was, at the end of it, I was kind of thoroughly satisfied because it kind of made up for it towards the end. I'm looking forward to see what they do next. I hope there's more Hollow Earth story. I'd like to see more about that.
I think the highlight for me was definitely the young child who had the ability to teach Kong how to talk. And he was just saying that he just wanted to go home. And he just doing that, and I'm just like, whoa, Kong can now talk to humans, and that was just amazing. Because did you guys pick up on her attire any? Did she look familiar?
She was from the Skull Island tribal.
Well, that too,
right?
But specifically, her race and her attire was made to look like the Godzilla twins from the '60s movies. Do you remember the two twins that would all do their little chant and stuff like that? Now, I'm going way back.
That's cool.
But if you Google the Godzilla twins, you will see that she looks quite a bit like.
That's cool.
It's kind of eerie. And I think they did that intentionally to kind of tie in the universe.
I think that's wonderful.
But
going back to what Mike was saying about the Millie Bobby Brown character in the Psycho podcast dude and their little crew going through their adventure, I feel like if that entire bit was cut from the movie, it would be a much better movie.
Absolutely. It was a little lackluster.
I felt like it was like off-putting. Like every time you had to go back over to them and follow I feel like we were missing entire bits that you could have probably filled in more. The whole point of their storyline was to reveal the Mega Godzilla or Mega whatever, the lizard robot thing. Yeah. Anyways, so that was like their whole existence for the entire movie, and they oversaturated their attention on that storyline for no reason.
It goes back to what Austin was
bleach
saying.
And weird stuff.
Yeah, that was really stupid.
That was strange. So
Why
I
do
mean,
you shower with bleach? What the frick?
It's so weird,
dude.
I mean, they very easily could have just revealed that whenever crazy doctor dude's daughter was in their ship going to Hollow Earth to send up the extra energy or whatever. That could have been it.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Oh yeah, this is the reason why we're doing this."
It goes back to what Austin was saying, though.
Extra stuff.
I think that there's not a perfect balance of that human story.
No, it wasn't
with
there for
the Titan component. I don't think that they. Yeah, this movie was fan service. Let's just be honest. I mean, they gave us what we wanted to see without, making all the fans feel crazy. But they still haven't tackled that human component. Like the storytelling, the whole thing with the podcaster could have been done a little bit, I think, more tighter. I think there was a lot of scenes in there that was just really like, okay, you don't need to be showering with freaking bleach.
Please let me state for the record, I absolutely adore Millie Bobby Brown. She is a fantastic actress, but it was just her role in this movie, the way it was written and played.
It wasn't the same role that she had in the original
Godzilla.
Godzilla.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brian Tyree Henry's podcaster on paper works, right? Because it's this crazy guy with theories and, it does kind of hearken to things that we have in our life right now, right?
It was great as like an intro into the movie, but it kind of overstayed its welcome in the story.
It kept going and it took away. And like you said, that entire subplot, it's not meaningless, but for me, it's going this route with these characters. Just, it wasn't needed, right? We could have taken care of that, right? We still needed that glue. We needed what's taking us from scene to scene. But maybe we could have cut down on and spent more time with our monsters. And I would have been okay with that, right? They're wanting to give more to Godzilla's side of things because that's supposed to be his side of things. But I just wanted to see more Godzilla. And then you have Kong's storyline. And, that was great. And I absolutely love that character that communicated with Kong. But then there are some side players when they're going to Hollow Earth and, a couple of some performances that I just wasn't really loving. And I'm like, we could have just done all of these things so much better. And again, I love the fact they're spending more time, but they just haven't mastered that balance yet.
Yeah,
right.
I think Lindsay hit the nail on the head on that one.
Yes.
Sure.
And I would be okay, to be honest, with an entire movie, maybe the communicator with Kong, but an entire movie with Kong, some creatures, 2 human characters, and that's it. Give me a whole movie in Hollow Earth with just that, because I don't need the excess fat. Trim it off and give us what we care about. And I think they tried to do that in this film, but it just didn't get all the way there.
And, if you notice too, the scene with the podcaster and Millie Bobby Brown, they just secretly happened to be in the tube, in the capsule.
There was a lot of
that was going to Hong Kong.
That was just corny as hell.
And it was this human element of those 3 that was discovered the Mecha Godzilla. He was going to get revealed either way. Did that have to be through the human component? Because they didn't have
could have been through the human component, but in a different way that was a lot faster and got to the point, I think.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Just extra.
It's just like, we don't need to see their whole journey through this magnetic tube, walking around, wondering what the heck they're doing. It's just very, I don't know, man.
The only thing I'll give the movie, I'll give it this. I think it's very self-aware when it comes to the cheese. I think the director understands we're going to have, I mean, the concept in general is cheesy. It's a big monkey fighting a big lizard with a robot lizard coming in. It's cheesy, right? So he embraced the cheese with the human storyline. And the podcast, I mean, that entire story was a little bit cheesy. I didn't mind it as much as I would in other movies because we have all this crazy stuff happening. And I'm like, at least this film is self-aware. I feel like it's the first one in the franchise that understands we're going to give the people what they want, and we're going to give you a little bit of cheese here and there. So I'm not going to knock it too hard.
Yeah.
But again, for me, it's more the time spent on all of these things and the unanswered questions, Joe, like you just said. A lot of, you have to kind of turn your brain off all the way.
You do, and that human element has not been refined. I mean, they're 4 movies into this, and they still don't have a working formula for it to work out. And let's fast forward to the ending here right quick, because we're almost coming up on the top of the hour. If you can believe it's already been 1 hour.
Yeah,
but
crazy.
You have this development of this Mecha Godzilla, and evidently it's been in the works for years, to replace Godzilla and have a more controlled Titan to take care. And you take him out by pouring water on a keyboard? That's how he goes down? Wait, dude, was I the only one? I laughed my ass off when I watched that. I'm like, really? You have a 100-ton thing walking around in Hong Kong, and all you got to do is just pour water on the keyboard.
He did get stabbed in the face with an axe stick.
Well, I mean, but he was still very much, he had rockets and boosters and thrusters and guns.
He had all sorts of stuff.
I mean, it was like freaking Tony Stark, but Godzilla form. Yeah. And
if Ultron had his pet, this would be it.
I don't have a big problem with that. You just pour water on the keyboard, and that's done.
Yeah. That was the moment for me that I just had to sit back and go,
really?
Okay. It's like this
if you would have
huge creature
all the tech going into this freaking giant, pouring water on a freaking keyboard would be the only one. That's not.
You guys didn't waterproof it?
Yeah. God. But even
iPhones are waterproof now.
Dude, I'm telling you, we live in an era where our Apple Watches are waterproof. Can't Mecha Godzilla be waterproof? Seriously.
It wasn't in the budget. It wasn't in the budget.
Oh my gosh, dude. I'm telling you.
I had no investment in that kid that was with him, the one with the glasses that poured the water.
Yeah.
I had no use for him at all. I'm like,
no.
Why is he even there?
He reminded me so much of like the what is it, the kid in Spider-Man that's Peter Parker's friend. He kind of reminded me of, what is it, Ned?
Yeah.
He kind of reminded me. I was like, holy cow, hey, look at this.
I love Ned.
Yeah, I love Ned too. Now that character works well. But this character was just like, what's your point in this movie? Yeah. He had no point.
He was a kid in a chair, but he didn't do anything.
I'm telling you, dude. I got to echo what not Nick Cage said. No words. No words.
Yeah.
I got nothing. Well, I think, is there anything that we didn't hit on in this movie that we should? I think we've pretty much.
I think I've said all I need to say about it.
I think so. I think the movie overhaul, if you take out, like we said, and Lindsay and I think all 4 of us are in agreement, the human element is not perfected in these films. And it's very weird. It's very, chalky. It's very not refined at all. Take that out, and if you just enjoy these Titan battles for what they are, just without the human part, they're freaking fantastic. Yeah. Especially the Hollow Earth scenes are amazing. The final battle is amazing. We have like literally almost 40 minutes of on-screen time between these Titans duking it out. That's a lot of on-screen time. So we definitely get some fan service there. But let's go ahead and review this and give us our official PopXcast rating. Austin, let's see. Let's Lindsay. Well, you've been the first tonight. Let's go ahead and Lindsay and Mike.
7.2.
That's extremely generous.
Yeah,
that's extremely generous.
It's not the worst movie I've ever seen. It was still entertaining with the nitpicking that we did. So.
Lindsay, that's higher than my score.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to be nice tonight.
That's
I'm feeling in a good mood.
extremely generous.
Yeah.
Mike?
I'm just going to go with a 6 because the only thing that was, worth that kind of rating was just the action and the CG. The human characters were just boring to me.
Yeah. Got you. Austin Burkinator.
Yeah, I'm going to be generous too. I'm actually going to go a 7 because I do think the movie knows what it's doing when it's handling the actual CGI and the fights. And there was a comment in the chat. The comment was nobody here can make a movie better than what they made. Just, frustration, upset that we're sitting here nitpicking. Listen, the reason why we do what we do is first of all, we're not hired to make the movie. No. It's not our job. Technically, my job, what I get paid to do is to be a movie critic and to not take apart, but to look at films, analyze them, and recommend movies of this nature, of any nature. And look, Godzilla vs. Kong is a very self-aware film. It's a film that you watch and you understand it's cheesy and it's cheesy for a reason, but
yeah.
we are, in my opinion, we're allowed to sit and criticize these things because what we're doing is we're looking at films like this and we're saying, here's what you could have done better. In our opinion, it doesn't mean we're right necessarily.
Correct.
And here's what we could adjust for the future when it comes to something like the Monsterverse, things like that. So when we say things like this and we give criticisms, don't take offense to that, right? We're not doing this to be offensive.
Can I just say that if you refer back to the original movies, these movies are phenomenal.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
So there is that. Just because we're saying negative things doesn't mean we necessarily hate the movies either. We're just talking about the negative parts because we've already said the things that we enjoy as well. And that's just part of talking about movies in general.
Yeah, that's the whole. I mean, we could any movie you could say that. Well, of course you can't make any movie. But that's not my job, right? My job is not to go out and make a film. My job, technically, and what we do on this podcast is to give our thoughts and criticize and analyze and just have fun with talking about. We can hate a movie, love a movie, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to your opinion, and every opinion is valid as long as you have the conversation to back it up. So for that reason, I'm going to 7.
All right. I respect that. I respect that. We had a 7.2, we had a 6 and a 7. Mine is a 6.9. And the reason I say 6.9 is just that human element for me. And the final scene on how they took down Mechagodzilla with his malfunction and pouring water onto the mainframe keyboard. I mean, the whole idea of it being controlled through the skull of the dead Titan was amazing. I love that. They're connected
that was a really
to the
cool
neural
idea.
network. But then that was just such a freaking cop out. I mean, I don't know. I did not enjoy that going down of that beast. That he should have had more oomph to him.
But I
agree.
mean, you connect so well with Kong, and I think that's the reason why I kept my score as high as I did, because it did really sell that
Kong
story.
was the part of the movie for sure.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah.
So I couldn't agree more. Kyle Dawson rewatchability scores 0.
Do we have scores in the chat? What are we doing?
Yeah, we've got
Darth Bach is an 8.5. John Poffenbarger's
6.7. I Talk Marvel 227 9.5. We got a 7.5 from looks like DC fan, and Darth Bach at 8.5, and Kyle Dawson rewatchability score.
Kyle
0.
brings up a good point though, because I am curious. Out of all the movies we've talked about this year, this is the one I'm like, how rewatchable is it going to be? Can we get past the human storyline and get into? I know what we got to do, Joe. We've got to go to our local IMAX or Dolby theater and see this puppy on the big screen. Who saw it on the big screen in the chat? Let us know.
Not me. There's none of our big theaters.
I watched it at home with my kiddo.
I mean, all of our Regal cinemas in Orlando went bust up. I mean,
our theater just opened this last week. Just opened today. Maybe 2-3 days now it's been open.
And maybe that's the reason why our scores are low, if you think about it. I mean, are not where they want to be, because I mean, you think
not
about
getting the big
we don't have that sound system that a theater has.
Yes.
And we don't have the 80-foot screens that they have.
Well, I have a pretty big screen.
Well, you do have a big screen, but even in 4K, I mean, I have a 70-inch 4K TV here, and it's still not the same experience. You're not getting that grand scale experience, and maybe that is playing into it.
Yep.
Couldn't agree more. But anybody else? Any other thoughts before we wrap up on Godzilla versus Kong?
Just real quick. I mean, isn't it the human condition having a different opinion than everybody else? But it's as a consumer. I mean, yes, okay. Granted, this is not the greatest example, but my philosophy is go to the theater, I pay my whatever to get in, and I'd like to get my money's worth. And if I don't, then that's disappointing to me. But what may be a 6 to me could be a 9 to somebody else. But then you got your money's worth.
That's exactly right. Well said, Mike.
And that's unfortunately that's part of the situation we live in right now. It's everybody needs to have the same opinion, but it doesn't seem to work that way.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more.
I'm not going to go really down that too much.
Well, guys, there it is. Godzilla versus Kong. This is the official PopX score. We closely, if you average it out, we're at about a 7 with all of us voting together. So that's pretty decent. So definitely go watch this. And I think I may do myself a service this week and try to go watch this in a theater, because we have a theater here close to me that just reopened last week. And so I'm going to try to go watch it. But with all that said, guys, this has been such a jam-packed episode, and it's been great having you guys on board in this chat room. I want to give freaking props right now to this chat room. You guys are freaking blowing it up tonight. I mean, just Kyle and John and I Talk Marvel, DC Fan, Darth Baca. Man, you guys are the heart and soul of what's going on in here tonight, and I can't appreciate you so much. I appreciate you so much for hitting that subscribe button and locking in here with us on a Monday night. Upper Room Gamer Network, Brian L. My gosh, I'm forgetting some. Not Nick Cage. I know I'm forgetting people, but if I didn't mention your name, don't be offended. But I'm just trying to read the chat quickly. But thank you guys so much for just being the heart and soul of PopXcast, because you guys are literally helping us strive through this entire thing. And you guys are liking what we're doing, and that's just fuel for us to keep doing what we're doing, all right?
That's right.
With all that said, Austin Burke, go ahead and lead us out, my friend.
Yes, I did want to throw in real quick, too, in terms of the success of Godzilla.
Oh, yeah.
Now, remember, premiering on HBO Max, right? We're talking a $50 million opening in the United States with the HBO Max premiere from Wednesday to Sunday, because it was a holiday weekend. Plus, the worldwide total is almost up to, as a whole, $300 million, which would be
bad.
Far and away the best pandemic movie yet. So I think we may be seeing movies come back big time this summer. It's looking really good.
Well, July the 7th. Black Widow, man. Come on, let's do it.
That's the test.
That's going to be the test.
Yeah, man, that's a big one. But you guys can follow me and find me at the Burkinator on Twitter and Instagram, and Austin Burke on YouTube and Letterboxd. Joseph is on there as well. We're part of the newly formed creative group known as the Creative Multiverse. For more great media content, artwork, and more, you guys can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at the Creative Multiverse. If you are a creative, unlike me, produce content, or have talent, unlike me, we want to see it, and we would like for you to share it with us in the multiverse. Go over there and check out that page. It is awesome.
He's so funny, man.
That's funny. You can find me. I'm Lindsay Badger. You can find me at LR Badger everywhere on the internets, on all the social medias. You can connect with PopXcast on all social medias as well at PopXcast. We're Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and more. Send all the comments and suggestions to us via email if you so choose. PopXcast@gmail.com. Also, for future and past shows, please go to our website, the official website of PopXcast, www.popxcast.com.
And I am Joseph Burke, a.k.a. at Joseph Burke Arts, all over the web and on social media. Of course, hats off always to Team PopX. Want a huge shout out to Mr. Mike Ippolito for joining us today. He's been 9 hours on the road. He told me the other night, he's like, I'm not going to make it, bub. Don't worry. But I got some news in there for you. And my God, he shows up and he's here and he's like all red-eyed and he's still pushing through this thing.
It's the best part of my Sunday, Mike, is that you're here.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Mike is
or
here.
Monday. It's Monday now.
But that's it for this episode of PopXcast, episode 119. We'll see you next time on 120, where we're going to break down some Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And we will be doing the retro rewind of The Princess Bride.
Yay!
Indeed. So get ready for that. And man, I can't wait to talk about that movie. Holy cow, it's so good. And also, I want to give you a little tease snippet. Episode 121, we'll be talking about Mortal Kombat. So get ready for that. Awesome. Finish him. Wow. What is going on?
I don't know what's happening over there.
I'm just gonna let screen out the you doing that again? You're gonna oh my God.
Get over here.
What in the ass?
Just broke something.
Thanks for listening to PopXcast. As you're enjoying listening or viewing our shows, please consider clicking on the subscribe button to our feed and click the get notifications buttons so you don't miss out on great future content. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/PopXcast, and on Instagram at PopXcast. And be sure to drop us an email anytime at popxcast@gmail.com. For more great content, check out the Creative Multiverse, where science, art, and imagination come together with artistic talents. The Creative Multiverse can be found on Facebook groups under the same name. We'll see you next time. Get your geek on.